Hi guys, welcome again to our channel. Thanks for watching and taking the time out of your day. So, yeah, that's my wife.
I'm new at this.
What?
I'm blogging.
Blogging?
Yeah.
Blogging or vlogging?
I don't even know what to say. Vlogging? Vlogging?
Vlogging.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so today we're going to be talking about the fact that we're having twins.
Yes.
And you know, most of the time when you watch Facebook or YouTube, when you're looking at twins, you're looking at it from the perspective of the woman. So I'm also going to chime in and give some of my perspective, I think. It's just a general chat. We haven't really got anything prepared, so we may miss stuff out. We may say too much. Either way, you know, just leave us a comment. Let us know if you want to hear certain aspects of how it is. So we could start from, when did we find out?
We actually found out pretty early. We have been trying for a few months, probably 6 months or more. So we found out in early February? January.
Late January.
Yeah, late January. It was kind of funny. We actually were heading to a fertility appointment because we just wanted to have some further advice. And when we went to the fertility appointment, we were actually already pregnant. So it was early on in the pregnancy that the doctor confirmed that it was going to be a twin pregnancy. So we actually found out even like as early as just before we were like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
That we could be having twin pregnancies.
And I think that's it was a bit of it was a surprise, it was a shock. There's that joy, there's that happiness, there's that, you know, I think from a guy perspective, you kind of think, oh my God, it's going to cost this, and this. And then from your perspective, it was just how wonderful, what a glorious gift. And
Well, I actually confirmed my own pregnancy. Like on a later vlog, I'll kind of explain a little bit more what I do, but I do work in healthcare. So I confirmed my own pregnancy. So I knew I was pregnant when we went to that first fertility appointment. And yes, so it's actually pretty weird to find out you're having twins that early on. But during that first appointment, he did confirm that he could see 2 possible gestational sacs. It's very common to miscarry very early on, so we weren't getting too excited also, but we were followed closely, and we found out that both of them were doing quite well and growing at the rates that they were supposed to, their heartbeats, all of that. So yes, so now we're at
20 weeks.
20 weeks. Yeah, and the first trimester, what would you say is like from a guy's perspective?
Oh, that's a really tough question without kind of like trying to offend you or upset you.
That's fine.
But yeah, from a guy's perspective, well, first there's an appreciation that your hormones are racing, so they're going all over the place, and you need to. From a guy, you need to adjust to that fast, ever-changing pace of your emotions and how you feel, and that one minute you're very emotional, the next minute you're very upset, and then you're happy again, and so that's a little bit of a roller coaster that a guy needs to get used to during the first trimester, as well as the morning or all-day sickness, I should call it, not the morning sickness, but the all-day sickness that causes you not wanting to do too much, which is kind of hard when you are in a relationship where you're both sort of active and you go out and you do things together and you want to do things. And then from a guy perspective, it's like, oh, okay, she just wants to sit at home and watch The Voice again and again and again. So, you know, and that's really tricky, you know, but so you got to have a lot of patience during the first initial trimester. It's a little bit fun because in the beginning it's more excitement and you know, also being a little bit of afraid because you want to make sure that everything goes okay, but also at the same time you wanting to tell everybody, but you know you can't because you need to wait for a certain period of time, which is also really difficult from a guy perspective as well, because you especially if it's your first child, and for us it is our first child, and we were lucky enough to have 2, so that's I think that's very difficult. So you need a lot of patience as a guy. You need to be really understanding of the changing emotions for your partner and what they're going through, and be as supportive as possible, and bring lots of ice cream, and lots of ice cream, and more ice cream.
Yes.
But how is it from a woman's perspective?
So there's a lot of vlogs out there. First of all, I want to say there is lots. Like I said, I do have a background, so I know like kind of what's expected during the trimesters. So, you know, first trimester is usually between, you know, the first weeks to about 12 weeks. And it's true what they say, right? It's a lot of nausea, and it's not only morning sickness, it's basically all day sicknesses, and that's what I experienced. So it was really hard when you're feeling nauseated every, like 24/7 basically. For me, I craved a lot of just carbs and cold foods, just to kind of comfort foods that made me feel better. I couldn't really go outside and like even take a walk sometimes, because like just different smells and fumes even from the car would trigger even like my hand soap, things like that. So it was a bit
which is also like, I found, you know, from a guy's perspective, that was also really hard, because certain foods that I used to be able to cook, I suddenly couldn't cook anymore, and I found that I'd be going out to find a restaurant where I could sneak and eat that food in peace and quiet without someone screaming and saying, "Are you cooking bacon?" or "Are you frying onions?"
Yes. So the nausea was very hard. You feel really tired and exhausted. You feel like you can sleep all the time. You know, you're getting up to pee multiple times. You're feeling your hormones. You're feeling irritable. Like sometimes you're feeling happy. The weirdest things make you cry. Like a speech on TV or something can make you cry. So it's just, and different aches. And like I said, every woman is different, and there is a lot of vlogs out there, and I sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I found it a bit hard listening to other women speak, because everyone comes from so many different, everyone's experience is different, right? So I basically, my recommendation is just to make it your own. Don't compare yourself to other women. It's not going to be the same for every single woman. You know, we're all different. We all come from different, you know, our health backgrounds in terms of, you know, for me, I experienced a lot of anxiety also the first trimester, because I have a history of miscarriages. So for me, it was very hard feeling like comfortable. So that first initial trimester, I lived in great fear. Like many women can relate to this who've had miscarriages, where you kind of like go to the bathroom and the first thing that you check is to make sure that, oh my God, is everything okay? It's kind of a little bit of it's hard, but women who've experienced it can relate. The anxiety that you go through, not even just me, but also my partner. You know, if any kind of little ache that I experience, he'd make sure like, are you okay? Is everything okay? Yeah. But thank God, with this pregnancy, like things are going well.
Yeah, I think I agree. You know, when you experience a miscarriage, then the both of you have some sort of, you know, you have anxieties and hopes that you want to ensure that everything goes okay. Mm-hmm. It just, you know, you never forget that that whole incident, that issue, that feeling, that, mm-hmm. you know, I can't even think of a way of trying to express it, to be honest, on what you go through. But I'm going to say something a little bit opposite to what you said.
Okay.
In that, I, from a guy perspective, I would encourage you to watch lots of YouTube.
Yes, and I'm not saying not to watch YouTube. Everyone's different, but I'm just saying is is you definitely have found it a lot more helpful and I encourage it. I actually found it I was quite happy that my partner was willing to learn, you know, from different sources like books and all that, but he found that the vlogs, you know, seeing what other women were going through at similar stages of pregnancy. So I definitely encourage it. My point is that every woman should not compare to every single woman that's, you know, is telling you their symptoms. Every woman will be different. Yes, there's a similarity in a lot of the symptoms that you will experience, but in terms of not comparing yourself, oh, my pregnancy should be going this way, you know, and why is it not going like that? That's what I mean. And so I'm just trying to make this experience my own, and yeah, like learn along the way the things I do not know. I do have to say that I'm appreciating a lot more of what, for example, my clients, you know, go through, being on the other side. Going through the whole healthcare system here in Canada. Exactly. It's been
it has been
a bit of a struggle, kind of
a roller coaster.
A roller coaster
of events that new parents or even parents having a second or third child have to go through. So that's been kind of tricky and growing on both sides. And again, you need to have a lot of patience, and you need to do a lot of, you know, reading up on things and reviewing. And again, yeah, I found the vlogs pretty helpful.
Yeah.
It was good to get gain an understanding from a female perspective, and I agree with Carla in that every woman on the vlogs did not have the same experiences, just as much as the bump was bigger in some and smaller in the others, and barely noticeable in others. Not each person was the same. However, it did give me, there were some similarities that I could draw on between all of them, which together mapped out with some of the symptoms and experiences that you were going through. So in that sense, yeah, I found it very positive. And I also looked at some of the men videos who also talked about their experiences as well. What I haven't seen is two couples like us actually talking about the experiences of the first trimester of the pregnancy. And for us, we want to make this a weekly thing. So each week we'll just tell you how we're doing. So next week we will be on week 21. And we will give you an update of how each week goes by every week. So look out for those. Look out for those videos coming out on Wednesdays. Those will be our birth week by week vlog updates on how the twins are doing, so we can take you through this whole process that we're currently experiencing in terms of the twins. And we'll probably put together some side vlogs that Carla mentioned about you know, the miscarriage, for example, discussion on those. I'm a dad who's 50, so you know, having discussions about what it is to be a father at 50 is probably something that we'll talk about later on, as well as about us as well. And if there's anything else that you want to hear, please let us know. And you know, hopefully we've covered everything, and if we haven't, just leave some comments and we'll be happy to respond to them and let you know, and fill in some of the gaps. And again, please hit the like, subscribe button, and we hope to see you next week for our next weekly update. Thank you.
Thank you.